Namaste, myself Triveni Khurana, Assistant Professor, Faculty Physiotherapy and Diagnostics. Today we are going to discuss sciatic nerve injury, continuation of sciatic nerve injury in the newborn. Sciatic nerve injury in the newborn has been observed principally after misplaced injection of the drugs into the buttocks, but also after prolonged paralysis with pressure necrosis of the skin overlying the buttock and after injection of hypertonic glucose or certain other agents into umbilical artery. The mechanism of the effect in the last instance is presumed to be spasm or thrombosis in the inferior gluteal artery that supplies the sciatic nerve. Traction injury with difficult reach deliveries may also lead to sciatic nerve injury. The clinical features include deficits of abduction at the hip and of all movements at more distal joints. That is, necrosis of buttock tissue may be an obvious accompaniment. Distinction from the lumbosacral plexus injury is based primarily on the sparing of hip flexion, adduction, and external rotation in sciatic nerve injury. Distinction from peroneal nerve injury may be difficult because preferential affection of the superficially and laterally placed fibers destined for peroneal nerve often occur and upward drop may be the prominent neurology abnormality. Others. Sciatic nerve injury was found in 8 out of 1 lakh patients having surgery in the lithotomy position with poor recovery despite adequate preventive strategies. A further study by the same reports 3 patients out of 1,000 as having developed a sciatic nerve injury in lithotomy position. Now, what is the mechanism of injury of sciatic nerve? As said above, stretch, compression, ischemia, and direct damage are the chief mechanisms. The lithotomy, frog leg, and sitting positions have been implicated in injury to this nerve perioperatively. That is, hyperflexion of the hip, abduction, and extension of the leg causes stretching. Hyperflexion of the hips may occur if a patient in the lithotomy position slips or is pulled caudal during surgery. Regional anesthetic techniques and hip arthroplasty may cause injury. A higher incidence is seen in men aged 45 to 55 years. Thin body habits, familial neuropathies, diabetes, and a history of alcoholism and smoking. Long duration of the lithotomy position and the use of intrapelvic self-retaining retractors are associated with lower limb neuropathies. The common peroneal component is usually affected as it is more posterior, lateral, and superficial compared to the tibial component. Now, what is the clinical picture about sciatic nerve injury? Injury manifests as paralysis of the hamstring muscles and all the muscles below the knee, leading to weak knee flexion and foot drop. All sensation below the knee except the medial aspect of the leg and foot is lost. Now, what is the prevention strategy? There is insufficient scientific evidence to suggest a specific strategy for preventing sciatic nerve injury. Limiting the degree of hip flexion in a patient in the lithotomy position to 90 degrees and protecting the hamstring group of muscles from being overstretched may reduce the incidence of sciatic neuropathy. Perioperative sciatic nerve injury is relatively uncommon but may occur from stretching, compression, ischemia, or a combination of these mechanisms. Stretch injury to sciatic nerve could occur if patient is placed in some variant of lithotomy position, especially those with simultaneous hyperflexion of the hip and extension of the knee or external rotation of the thigh. Case reports of the left-sided sciatic neuropathy after caesarean section in patients with left lateral tilt suggest that the pressure on the sciatic nerve in this position may cause sciatic nerve injury. Because the same forces stretch the sciatic nerve, sciatic nerve, and the hamstring group of muscles, eliminating the stretch, that is tautness, of knee flexor muscles in a surgical position helps reduce the incidence of stretch-related injury to the sciatic nerve. The ASA Task Force on Prevention of Perioperative Peripheral Neuropathies recommended that flexion of the hip and extension of the knee should be jointly considered to reduce the amount of stretch on hamstring when positioning of a patient in lithotomy. Intramuscular injections into buttock have been a common site of sciatic nerve injury since being documented in 1920s. These injuries may range from a transient sensory change to a permanent paralysis and paresthesia. A knowledge of the surface anatomy and underlying nerve enables the injection to be placed at the location that proves less morbid. What is piriformis syndrome? As the sciatic nerve exits the greater sciatic foramen in close proximity to the piriformis muscle, focal hyperirritability causing spasm, hypertrophy, or contracture of the muscle may cause entrapment. Symptoms mimic those of sciatica and are most often caused by trauma to the buttocks, affecting the piriformis either directly or indirectly. Diagnostic tests include LASIK, Friberg, and PACE sign. LASIK sign is localized pain with hip flexion and knee extension, applying pressure to the piriformis. Fribergs include passive internal rotation of the hip, which elicits pain. And PACE signs reveals pain during hip flexion, adduction, and internal rotation. Treatment may include pharmacological therapy of NSAID, muscle relaxant, ice, rest, and muscle strength along with stretching. In addition, acupuncture and trigger point injection of local anesthetic, steroids, or botulinum type A may be used. Finally, surgical decompression is the final option. Other injuries to the sciatic nerve and its branches include iatrogenic injuries, that is hip and knee arthroplasty, pelvic fractures, femur fracture, tubular and fibular fracture, compression of nerves due to arterial aneurysm, and tarsal tunnel syndrome too. The nerve can be injured by several intentional or unintentional means during a surgery. For sciatic nerve injury during THA procedure alone, following nerve injury etiologies have been reported: direct trauma from scalpel, electrocautery, retractors, wires, reamers, release of bond fragments, cement protrusion, constriction by suture, wire, cable, heat from the polymerization of cement, compression from dislocation, excessive lengthening, and subfacial hematoma. However, in many cases, the exact mechanism of nerve injury remains unknown. Now, what should be the physiotherapy intervention for sciatic nerve injury? Under this, pain management. Pain affects the quality of life and is a common consequence of nerve damage. Pain control is the paramount importance. Complete relief is rarely obtained, and 40 to 60% find means to obtain partial relief. A multidisciplinary approach is taken with most input from the pharmacologist. Anticonvulsant and tricyclic antidepressants are most used drugs for pain. A physiotherapist can employ other modalities that show in various studies to be of benefit as complementary medicine for pain relief. And these include aromatherapy massage. Studies has shown to help manage pain and increase quality of life. Many differing massage techniques have been employed showing benefits for pain management and quality of life. Next, TENS. Application of TENS has been found to be of benefit in pain reduction in neuropathic pain. It was found to be of benefit if used at 100 Hz in constant mode. Next, use of low-level laser therapy. Studies have found this to be of benefit in pain relief and acceleration of healing in treatment of neuropathic pain and neurological deficits as an adjunct therapy. Relaxation techniques and acupuncture also works in reduction of pain. A consequence of denervation is muscle atrophy and functional deficits. The healthy neuromuscular junction is critical for nervous control of muscles. TENS has been seen in numerous studies to have a positive effect on maintaining neuromuscular junction health and in prevention of muscle atrophy. A 2018 study found the use of TENS was most beneficial if delayed to 1 week post-trauma. The use of 100 Hz being most beneficial. Muscle care is of utmost importance to prevent damage to muscle units, in particular prevent heel occult trauma, overstretching by gravity, incorrect lifting or incorrect transfer techniques, contractures of muscles. Techniques employed by physiotherapists to achieve the above goals are ultrasound therapy, massage, hydrotherapy, splints, passive range of motion stretches, and correct transfer skill education. When muscle strengthening exercises can commence, it is important not to damage the healing nervous tissue. If pins and needles, numbness or increased pain occurs, the exercise is too hard and can have a negative effect on healing. Muscle strengthening exercises are employed as appropriate. Example, isometric, graded weight progression, open-close chain, proper splinting techniques from the post-operative splint and cast to splints that prevent deformities to overcome established contractures and improve function aids in patient's recovery. Use of support slings may be employed to assist the movement and take the weight of the leg, as many static and dynamic splints helping to rest paralyzed muscles in optimum positioning to avoid overstretching and or contractures. They also assist in allowing unaffected muscles to operate from correct positions. A recent study found that exercise can enhance axonal growth via a neurotrophin-dependent mechanism, affecting adult dorsal root ganglion neurons. Aerobic activity should also be encouraged, aiming for 30 minutes 4 times a week for its known health benefits. In the relearning of functional tasks, the brain is utilized to regain visuotactile and audiotactile interaction. In the upper limb, the focus is on fine motor skill learning, and in the lower limb, balance and coordination are of the focus. Thank you.